whatever I need. Why did you come in here? Saeed says, well, this is what I need. The guy says, get everything you need now. I'll pay for it. He spent about $8,000 right there on the spot. God had met him. And until we start taking our eyes off of people, even your job, your boss isn't the one employing you. I think that would change the way you look at your superiors if you looked at it that way. A lot of believers miss it because they're looking at people. Jesus made it very clear here. This is a promise that you should have tattooed all over your walls. Excuse me. If you're finding yourself in need right now. This verse alone could get you out. It says for you to seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Those verses before give you the greatest context of all with regard to that. That's your part. God will take care of His. Some people end up seeking people when they should be looking at God and then wonder why things aren't panning out the way that they should. There's the tension. Third would be a path. If you would, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Some of you guys know this verse. These verses, these are great verses to live by. If you've ever found yourself in a place where you don't know which way to go, we're all going to have those places in life where you're going to have this way, do I go this way, or do I go that way? Every single one of us, at some point or another, face a choice like that. God has given us some promises here in these two verses that we do our part, He'll do His. If you would, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, it goes on to read. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. I'm going to read it to you from the Amplified. It says, lean on, trust in, and be confident in the Lord with all your heart and mind, and do not rely on your own insight or understanding. In all your ways know, recognize, and acknowledge Him, and He will direct and make straight and plain your paths. So we have here, if I'm looking to trust God above what I can figure out on my own, and if I'm willing to pay close attention to where I'm at with Him, concerning the way I live and my ways, the way I treat people and everything, if I'm mindful of Him and all these other things, it says He'll make His way that He wants to lead us very plain, very clear, and the way to go will be known. But too many believers get into this thing, well, should I go this way or should I go that way? And they don't get anywhere. They just end up right there going, well, which way do I go? And it says here, if we trust Him, and that word in the Hebrew means to hide for refuge. And when it's used in other places, it makes a big contrast between trusting in somebody versus trusting in God. Too many people end up defeated because they don't have any real direction and they don't commit to God. It says to hide for refuge. That's what that word means. Do you have enough sense to get out of the rain, so to speak? Some people will sit in the same spot and they won't go anywhere because they're not willing to trust God. Too busy trying to figure everything out. And that's not what God intended for any of us. You know, I have my navigation system in my car. It's a little older. So some newer things, I know, look at me. Oh, I have navigation in my car. Some people don't have that. And I'm like, oh, it's older. Shut up. Pray for me. Anyways, yeah, believe it or not, I have navigation in my car. I don't always listen to it. You know, I'll punch in an address. Sometimes it'll give me 4 different choices for the same location in the same city. And I can't see the zip. I don't know because it's a little older. Poor me. It's a little older. You know, new developments have happened. Things have been built. All this other stuff. Sometimes it's hard to figure out where to go. And there's been many a time where I've just picked one and hope it's the right one. Sometimes they have different miles. One's 18 miles versus 22. And I'm like, thinking, okay, well, if I'm off, I'm 4 miles off. I don't know. So sometimes I drive in faith, believing somehow that I'm going to the right place. Sometimes it's worked out. Sometimes it hasn't. But that's not how God works. If you're going to trust Him, and He says He wants to lead you to a specific place, you're going to get where He wants you to be. It's not going to be like that. It's not like my old navigation system, where you have to kind of cross your fingers and, okay, well, hopefully God, I divinely pressed the right one out of the 6 that showed up as possible destinations. I was reading a book by Andy Stanley, and he has this whole thing, this book called Principle of the Path, and the whole principle is this. Principle of the path means direction determines destination, not intention. How many of you have ever wanted to be a certain place in life and find yourself so far removed from it and you literally do not know how you got there? Well, the thing is, you had to change your direction. He said the whole principle of that book was direction trumps intention. You can intend to go wherever it is that you want, but if the direction and the path that you're taking is the complete opposite of where it is that you want to be, you can long for it all you want, you can pray for it all you want, but wherever it is that you want to go, there is a way to get there. And too many believers say that they want this, I want the right kind of marriage, I want this working in my marriage, but we're still looking at pornography. I want this kind of marriage, but we still don't talk and we don't go out on dates. We don't work on it, but we still want it. And wonder why they end up in divorce court. Other people, I want this thing with God. I want a better relationship with God, but they won't pray. I wish I could have a better relationship with God. I wish I had a greater knowledge of the Word, but they'll sit and watch TV. Direction determines destination, not your intentions. We can want all we want, but until we get into a place where we say, God has given us a roadmap to get wherever it is that we want to be, He promises these destinations, this is how you get there, and then act like that doesn't matter, and still want is an exercise in futility. And look, I'm number 1 at this. I want to lose weight, and I want to get to the gym, but I'm going to go to Tommy's. And I'm going to order a chili tamale with cheese and all the fixings, and then I'm going to order a big basket of chili fries.
Hallelujah.
But I'm going to order a Diet Coke. You should see the looks that I get at some of these people when I'm at the counter. Say, I just order a 5,000 calorie meal. Give me that Coke.